Hello, Otis Corbett here, Director of Missions of Covington Baptist Association. A couple of weeks ago, I had the privilege of conducting a Zoom conversation with two of our IMB missionaries who are our partners in Mexico City, Carlos Jambez and Rick Martinez. They gave a great report about what God is doing in that massive city of 28 million people, and I wanted to share that with you. So take a look at this clip from that conversation.
So just a real quick snapshot of the Baptist work in Mexico City. What used to be called the Foreign Mission Board. There have been Foreign Mission Board missionaries, and now IMB for over 100 years. So in the late 1890s is when the first missionary really made it down into the Mexico City area. And so we've had a Baptist presence, a Southern Baptist presence there for over 100 years. And there's been a near constant presence since that time. So the evangelical / Baptist work is not something new there. So what you'll find in Mexico City is that we have, and not just in Mexico City, but in the whole country of Mexico, we have a national convention, a National Baptist Convention, and then what we have associations in the United States. They call them conventions also. So in Mexico City, there's the Central Regional Baptist Convention, which is what we would call, an association. But so we have about a little over 100 Baptist churches, Mexican Baptist churches in Mexico City, several thousand members. There's a very good organized work in all sectors of Mexico City. However, like you said, Otis, even though we have been in Mexico City for over 100 years, the reality is statistically, the Baptist work hardly even registers when it comes to the statistics of it. And so we have Mexico City is a massive city, as most of you know. It's over 20 million people. In fact, the new census will be coming out, so we'll find out that we're probably going to find that there might be upwards of 25 million people when you include the metropolitan area. And there's probably, the Lifeway has done two really well-researched studies, both in 2013 and also in 2016. And the evangelical work is found to be anywhere between 7 and 10%. This includes Baptist and non-denominational, Pentecostal, Methodist, Presbyterian, and does not include groups such as Mormons, Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, and other what we would consider sects. But so if we take into consideration 7 to 10%, we're talking there could be as many as 18, perhaps 19 million people that perhaps don't yet know whether they have a true relationship with Jesus Christ. So, but thank God we and Carlos can talk a lot about this as well, but we have been seeing inroads, not only in Baptist work, but we're starting, and I would say in the last 3 years, 2 to 3 years, we're starting to hear more and more that there are churches being planted in Mexico City, not only amongst Baptists, but amongst the other denominations. And so we really believe that God is beginning to stir. He's always been there, obviously, but we're hearing about new churches more and more every day in Mexico City. And we're just really thankful to be a part of that. Our team currently, as it is, has been around for about a little over 6 years. And it really started with Carlos and with me. And then there was a gap before us where there wasn't even a team. So we kind of reconstituted the IMB team, and we've been adding members as God sends them. And so now a new way that we're looking at this is that we're considering Southern Baptist churches as almost part of our team, such as your Covington Baptist Association. And we're really truly viewing our national brothers as part of our team, and actually we're part of their team. And so we're really glad to see this coalescing into a unified one work effort. And so, Carlos, I'm sure you've got a lot to say. So Love to hear what you have to say as well about our team and how we're working.
Yeah, well, initially when we came to the city, it was Rick and I, and we set out to plant churches, and we have planted here and there, not necessarily here in the city, but in other places too outside of the city. So we've planted like 6 churches so far, and but lately what we realize is that even though we can go out and plant churches as IMB team, we needed to mobilize national partners like the CRBC, which is the Regional Baptist Convention here, and really cast a vision of church planting with them, and try to bring about partnerships, not only with the IMB but also with associations like Covington. When Covington said we want to come to Mexico, then we sat down with CRBC officials and said this church wants to come and they want to partner and they want to be a part of what God is doing, and let's see what God will do. And then God started doing some things through Covington and the CRBC, and some partnerships were formed where churches have been planted, and so that's the approach we're taking now, knowing that the city is so big. I've said many times that the city is so big that it should be treated as a country in itself. If you compare Mexico City to most of the Latin American countries, with the exception of maybe Colombia and Brazil and perhaps Argentina, but the rest of them have a population under or comparable to the city of Mexico. Therefore, we're moving in that direction, trying to partner with folks that want to plant churches, healthy churches, that are New Testament churches, hopefully Baptistic in their ecclesiology and theology, which is what we look for, and it is happening. It's happening in a way that we are seeing a lot of young men that are interested in being trained and having us as IMB partners walking alongside with them and alongside with U.S. churches and associations that would partner for the greater effort of planting churches throughout the city. So, and it's starting to happen. We're starting to see a lot of that, and we praise God for it, because we realize we can't do it alone. Even if we had 20 or 30 team members, IMB team members, we can't do it alone here. It is a country within a country.
Yeah, I think in years past, IMB kind of goes through some swings, and I would say the last maybe 10 years, there's been a big emphasis on house churches. And one of the positive things that has come about in the last, I would say, 3 to 4 years, and this is how Carlos and I approach the work, is that we instead of us trying to dictate what type of church should be planted. So, there's this dichotomy of, house church versus traditional church. We are now of the idea that, let God and His Spirit determine what type of church people want to end up planning. So some of these churches, like you're talking about, if a church that we help plant if the Spirit leads them to rent a space, we're going to bless that. They can rent a space. If the Spirit leads them to hold church in a house, in a garage, and they stay there forever, that's great too. And then in other cases, God may lead a church and it grows and grows, and they discover the need to purchase land and facilities and build facilities and become a mega church. And we're going to say amen to that also, because yes, and that's why we don't yet, some of the churches that we have helped plant, they're really small, but we don't know what God's going to do. And so in the next 10 years, they may stay house churches, they may stay rented storefront churches, or God may do other things and they might decide to build. So we just want, man, our heart's desires to see communities of Christ be planted all over, and we'll allow God to do his thing and determine what they become.
No matter what, we know, and our team knows, and you guys know that, the only hope for the city is the gospel of Jesus Christ. And where there is no church, we need to be out there, and we need to try to start a church, a healthy church, in those places. Many colonias here do not have a healthy church or do not have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And that is what we want to see. We want to see people coming to Christ, and we want to see churches started. We want to partner with healthy churches, healthy associations that will come and say, I'm on board. I want to walk with you guys. And on this side of the equation here, we have to see who the called out church planters are and give them a basic training like you would do in the Army, basic training to do what the New Testament says church should be, and then walk alongside of them and then turn them loose. That's the Pauline method. Paul went, he shared the gospel, he discipled, he identified leaders, and then once the church had been established, moved on. And that's what we want to see. That's where our heart is, and that's what we want the partners that come be able to do alongside of us. I think I've always worked with a missions menu that is evangelism, leadership training, and then strengthening a local church. And I think any partner that wants to come and do those things, they're welcome, and they're much needed here. God doesn't need them, but we need them. And we are here in the front line. We are the soldiers in the front line, and we need the backup to come and do the things that we're not able to do, and that they would complement the work. And then once the church is started, partner with the church and partner for the long run to help strengthen that local church.
Isn't that a great report? And here's another great thing. Because of your support of the cooperative program and the Lottie Moon Christmas offering, you're a part of that ministry too. Because everything that Rick Martinez and Carlos Jambez do on the mission field are representatives of you right here in Covington County. So thank you for praying for our missionaries. Thank you for supporting our missionaries financially. And thank you also for considering to go and be on mission in Mexico City after all this COVID-19 complication is over. Thank you so much for supporting your association and your IMB missionaries and our partners in Mexico City.